So my hometown is Walkerton, Ontario. I don't know if in the US you guys would talk about it much. It happened back in 2000, so they had their 20th anniversary 2 years ago of the Walkerton clean water crisis. So what happened was there was an intense rainfall event that caused manure from a nearby farm to enter one of the town's drinking water wells. And there was a whole bunch of different circumstances. The chlorination system, I don't think, was working properly. I think there was negligence by the operators who were grandfathered in and didn't have proper training. Records weren't um, being kept accurately. It was like the perfect storm, literally and figuratively, with what happened in Walkerton. But the ultimate impact of that was 2,500 people got really sick from E. coli poisoning, and about seven
Mm.
people died. So the impacts were catastrophic. But that like, I was fortunate my family, had moved the year before the flood, so we weren't living in the town at the time of it, but my parents knew people who were affected, and we still have, like, friends of our family there. Um, so that it shaped the industry as a whole. We have different, like, reporting requirements, inspection requirements, training requirements. Like, it reshaped the whole water treatment,
Wow.
industry after that happened. And there's lots of case studies on it, and it put Walkerton on the map. A lot of people didn't know where it was. And it also, I'm learning the more and more I get into my career how much it's had an impact on shaping what I do. And so I ended up in water treatment. So my full-time job, I operate water treatment facilities to make sure that doesn't happen again. But then it
Hmm.
also got me into the public education and outreach space, which I really enjoy. And then somehow that turned into this nonprofit, Rain It In, which is mitigating the impacts of intense rainfall and flooding. So it kind of came full circle. And at one point, I actually sat on the board of directors for the Walkerton Clean Water Center, which is a phenomenal training center that was created after Walkerton to train water operators and um, to help fill that knowledge gap there and make sure it doesn't happen again. So a lot of positive things came from it, and it could have been any community. It just Walkerton was the one where all the stars aligned, and um, yeah, so that's kind of shaped my
Were,
journey quite a bit, it
were,
seems.
were you at one time doing something with children? Do I remember that?
Not in a full-time capacity, but my at my full-time job, we have a program called One Water Education, where we teach grade 8 students about water and wastewater and water conservation and unflushables and things like that, and try to create water warriors and ambassadors and inspire them to dive into a career in water. So
Mhm.
that's like the grade 8 program, but I've done some stuff through other organizations externally as well with youth and students and the general public. So, but
Oh,
I
good.
really like the public education outreach space is where I
Yeah, we're
really
looking to
find my
get
passion.
children engaged also.
It's well, that's how recycling was so successful. It started with the students at the school, the children. They like would go home to their parents like, "No, mommy, you can't put that in the garbage. It goes in the blue bin," or So it's a great place to start for change. So
Yeah, we look at all these campaigns like the seatbelt campaign, where kids were the advocates for, click it or ticket. And also, for the forest fires, Smokey the Bear,
mhm,
put it out, that whole
yeah.
campaign. But now your Rain It In student competition was what evolved out of this. And so, Frank, that may be what you're thinking, because
Yeah,
there
okay,
is the
that's what I'm
student
thinking. Yeah.
engagement. And maybe you could just describe that and how it looks today, Ellen, so everyone can be aware that they can implement Rain It In if they're in Canada right now, potentially, if it could go internationally. I don't know.
Sure. It is something I'm looking into is the ability to accept funding outside of Canada. So that's on my to-do list right now, actually. So Rein It In is evolved to it's still a nonprofit, but the focus is to challenge post-secondary students to create solutions that are going climate. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It's a competition for post-secondary students that challenges them to create climate resilient solutions that have a specific focus on intense rainfall and flooding. So we've been partnering with different municipal partners there, and they provide a specific challenge for the students to solve. So with our previous competition, we were looking at like intensification and non-permeable surfaces and things like that within the community. And with this one, we're looking at creating experiential learning kits that have a specific focus on stormwater education for the public. So the project scope changes with the municipal partner as to what they feel they would get value from, and then we provide like a turnkey, like customizable competition around that. It has like guidelines and different timelines, and we have a mentorship workshop, and we do a skills development workshop on how to give an effective pitch. So we focus on the experiential learning aspect. We connect them with industry experts so they can learn about different career paths, and also get that realistic perspective for their projects. And then hopefully on the other side of it, we want to see some of these projects actually come to fruition and be developed and implemented to make a change in our communities. So
Yeah, and that's happening, right? I mean, didn't you also add funding, or did I mishear that?
the current municipal partner is providing a $5,000 seed grant for the winning team to
Yeah.
further develop their experiential kit and maybe market it. So
That is awesome. And you also, we had the prior interview with you because you were like the biggest friend raiser for Global Waterworks in the short amount of time, quickly became gold and then doubled that. And can you tell us, like, what was it that you saw in Global Waterworks as you were working in different areas of water that most excited you about the potential others could experience?
oh, it was kind of an idea that I'd had before I came across the platform, was connecting people. And I, like, either through myself or my experience with other people, what I tell people is you don't need to know how to do everything. You just need to know someone who does know how to do that. So I find um, you brought that to fruition. And so when I came across it, I was so excited. And I'm like, here it is. It's on a global scale. We've got professionals from all over the world working in all sorts of different areas of water that are excited and passionate to bring about change. So I just like geeked right out over it and like reached out to one of my contacts. I'm like, hey, check this out. This is so cool. And I found it, like, especially having the app to make it like, well, we had talked about the other day that I've never really logged into the desktop version, but I love the app version because it's not something I have to be in front of a computer. I have to log into this. I have to remember to log in. I have to check this. I get notifications right on my phone, and I can flip through things and read articles. I can directly chat with people. It just made it so much more accessible, and it really has become like a one-stop shop with the events calendar and the training and education and the career opportunities and the problem solving in different areas. It's everything is right there. So I love what you guys have done. So